the light and dark side of humanity explored through anime. And I think an anime that depicts this for me is One Piece. I know, 1,000 episodes, you probably clicked off the video. And when you started looking at the anime, you're like, yep, nope, doesn't look serious at all. However, I tell you now, it does get better and it does change your perspective on anime and your perspective on life. It changed my perspective on life and how I look at anime and just life in general. I think with One Piece, it is a depiction, or I say, is the perspective of Oda. Oda is able to create and look at the real world and incorporate his look on the real world into an anime. And I will explain this through the video in terms of how he's able to do this, show the light side of humanity, but also show the dark side of humanity. And just because of how it's animated, because it's not gory, it's not like a berserk, it's not dark like that, but the way it's been depicted, it makes you think it is all fun and games. And I'll be honest with you, it's not all fun and games. Maybe in the sense I am part of the toxic power level sense team, Yonko versus Admirals. I admit it, I'm toxic in the community is toxic. However, there is one thing that, as a community of people that watch One Piece, is that this story is amazing. It tackles so many different things in terms of life, different perspectives, and real topics that we do have today. In this video, I am trying to convince you to watch One Piece. Yes, I am. I'll admit it, I am. However, what I'm trying to do is show you the great things that One Piece shows and the beautiful things about One Piece that for an outsider, or if you've seen it, you have probably instantly came to a conclusion of One Piece is this, which might be good, might be bad. However, I want to give you an outlet without spoiling too much, because I think One Piece is a story that you have to experience, and I experienced it in probably the best time in COVID. Had nothing better to do, just binged 800 episodes through that period, and it changed my perspective and it made me, and I'm glad I did. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I have become part of the Jehovah's Witness of One Piece, of trying to convert as many people to the one and true One Piece. And hopefully this video does convince you, but if it doesn't convince you, what I am trying to do is show you the light and dark side of One Piece, and also just give you a perspective that probably you've never heard, or you've heard but not really listened to, but let me show you the beautiful thing, or the beautiful and dark things of One Piece. And with this, going into the first theme, or the most important theme, or what makes One Piece great, is the world building. And when we're looking at world building, I think Oda, in terms of any person that you hear talk about One Piece, they say the world building is by far the best. And the reason it is because you are, or what Oda does is, it's a crew going from island to island, and going to island, you are exploring the world of One Piece. It doesn't isolate itself, or you're just stuck on one island and that's it. You get to experience different cultures, different races, different characters, different perspectives and different ideologies that you as a reader can make up your own mind on certain characters, but also you're part of the journey. And I think the most important thing about it is you're part of the journey with these characters, and it doesn't feel like you've missed too much. You are there experiencing this life with these characters and enjoying the journey. The ups and downs, you are experiencing it with these characters. And I think this relates to life itself. Many people have the dream, or that they want to travel the world, and I think many of us would want to travel the world, because there is 8 billion people in the world, different cultures, different races, all from different ethnicities, and you have different countries with so many different people that you may never get to see. But being able to travel the world and do all these things is many people's dreams, because the world is so big, and if we had the resources and the luxury too, we would. And I think this is one of the most important things about One Piece. the idea that we follow this journey and get to visit different islands and different people, and it's something that many of us want to do. So when we see this anime, we're like, wow, get to see different cultures, different foods, different races and all that stuff. And if we had the ability to, we would do the same. And I think that's wonderful. At the end of the day, as people, we're all from different races and ethnicities and all these things. However, we are, at the end of the day, human beings, and we have all created different cultures, different things, the landmarks and all these things that make those areas special. And as a person, I want to visit and experience it for myself. I can see it on the internet, but the beautiful thing is, I wish I was there. I wish I could see the Pyramid of Gaza. I wish I could see the Eiffel Tower and all these other beautiful landmarks, because that's there. And I don't think social media or pictures do it justice. You have to see it with your own eyes. And I think that's what with One Piece is. It's that idea of traveling the world and being part of this journey of experiencing different races and different cultures. And I think with world building, by far it is the best to none. Another light side of One Piece is its depictions of dreams. And I think this is done by the characters' ambitions and just done by how it looks at dreams. I think dreams are essential to human beings. It is a realm outside of the physical realm. It is something that we all doze off, or when we close our eyes, we imagine ourselves with riches beyond compare, and or we dream of living, playing football, or just living this luxurious life. Every person's dream. Someone's dream is wealth, someone's dream is peace, someone's dream is just to paint. Every dream is different, and that's the beautiful thing of being human. Every person's ambition and dream is different. And I think with One Piece, what it does, it delves into different dreams and different aspects of people's dreams and the importance of dreams itself. I don't want to get into too much spoilers. However, in terms of one of my favorite characters is Luffy. His dream is to be king of the pirate. And when a lot of people hear that, they're like, king of the pirates, like someone just want to be Hokage or want to be the strongest person in their village or strongest person around. No, I think where Luffy differs in terms of what his dream is his dream is to be the freest man on the sea. And I think with the freest man on the sea, my implication is just he just wants to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, with no repercussions, just living his normal life. And in terms of it resonates with me. I want to be the freest person on the planet, and I mean that I just want to be free in the sense of I don't want to have any person or individuals holding me down. I want to be able to be financially free to take care of my family. I want to be financially free to be able to go on different trips and do whatever I want when I want. That's my sense of freedom in society. Every person may have a different depiction of what their freedom is. That is my depiction of my freedom or my ambitions, and that's one of my dreams. And that's the beautiful thing of One Piece. Every person's dream is different. Every person you may have the same dream as someone, but it's different in terms of what the end goal or what the fruit of those labors are. And I think one of my favorite speeches from One Piece is from one of the characters. I'm not going to spoil too much. He says, "Let them laugh. If you are aiming for the top, you don't need your fist to show your might. And a man's dream will never die." And in terms of this, it is just true. A lot of us have the ambition to be at the top. However, we are stopped and stunted by others' opinions. Others' opinions become this thing where it infiltrates our mind, and rather than ignoring it, we let it in, and it slowly creeps in to give you doubt. And when doubt creeps in, you are at a very hard stop, because you're battling between yourself. And when I say battling between yourself, is you've fed that demon side of you or the other side of you to say, no, you can't make it. These other people have told you can't make it. Why are you doing this? And then it turns into a battle between you, yourself, about who's right, the person that is ambitious or the person that is doubtful, and is basically saying that you can't make it, and their evidence is by others stating those words that you can't make it. So its evidence is that you've seen that these people say you can't make it, or they haven't make it, you can't make it, or you can't do this. And that's a battle that is an ongoing battle, and unless you do it yourself to prove that you will make it, that battle will be ongoing forever. And with what One Piece does is it shows different aspects of life, and with this speech itself, it shows that doubt can be the biggest killer in terms of dreams. And a lot of us have dreams. However, we are stunted by others and doubt. At the end of the day, I think in terms of dreams itself, you just have to do it. You have to experience it and keep going, because I don't think nothing can stop you from achieving your dream. And also with dreams in One Piece, it shows the importance of ongoing dreams. And when I say ongoing dreams or passed down dreams, it's the dreams will never die. They are just passed on through families, friends, and all this stuff. And with this, it means in the sense of, just because my dream is I didn't achieve it, I can pass it down to my child to achieve that dream. And if they achieve it, I have technically achieved that dream. And that can be enough for certain individuals. However, there is the other side where we have parents or the friends that are resentful and are kind of vengeful, in the sense that they don't want, if they can't make the dream, they don't want you to make the dream, and they become resentful to yourself for being or achieving that dream. But in One Piece, it shows the aspect of what humanity is, or what terms of family is. Just because I didn't achieve my dream, I can pass it down for you to achieve it if you do want to. And it can continue and continue and continue. It's like passing down the dream of being a farmer to a child, and then the child and child. It's a generation of continuing, or generational wealth in a sense. It's just passing down things from generation to generation in terms of values or wealth or anything like that, that continues in the family. And that's you, for example, if you started that, that's you living on and on and on and on through your children, your grandchildren, and all these things. It's just a beautiful thing in a sense. And I think one of the greatest speeches that I've ever heard is, when does a man die? When he's hit by a bullet? No. When he suffers the disease? No. When he's poisoned? No. A man dies when he's forgotten. And that speech, I ain't gonna lie to you, that gave me goosebumps, because it is true in a sense, because a person doesn't truly die until he's forgotten, and your children or your friends continue your legacy or continue your dreams by the way they continue living their lives. And how they live their lives, or whatever you've taught them, is them continuing you, or continuing aspects of you. And this is just wonderful. However, the dark side of humanity. In terms of the dark side of humanity, we can look at crimes that were committed against other races, and things that are still into this day, which are used to suppress individuals and suppress people. And in One Piece, there is racism. And I say again, there is racism. And a lot of people think, yeah, One Piece is sweet. No, it's not sweet. And there's also slavery. And I think this shows the dark side of humanity, because this is not just based off, oh, this is different. It's based on who was able to control power and how they see certain individuals just on their depiction, and whoever is in power controls the narrative of what is right or wrong. In terms of one of the greatest speeches I've ever heard was, in terms of the story, it says, pirates are evil, the marines are righteous. These terms have always changed throughout the course of history. Kids who have never seen peace, kids who have never seen war, have different values. Those who stand at the top determine what's right and what's wrong. This is the very place that is neutral ground. Justice will prevail, you say. But of course it will. Whoever wins this war becomes justice. I think that is just an incredible speech, because in terms of what that is, the truth, Whoever is at the top or whoever wins the war gets to depict their side of history, right or wrong. And I think this is what One Piece, in terms of what is, it is a reflection of reality. It shows the dark crimes that humanity commits against other people, against itself, and things that do continue to this day, such as racism. And I think with One Piece, a lot of people get it misconstrued to think it's just sweet and everything is just fun and games. It really isn't. It shows the entitlement of set individuals thinking they are above other people, and because certain features or certain things determine that you are lower or superior than someone else. And this is things that we face today. I think with One Piece, it's just what Oda created. It is his perspective of life, or what goes on in life, or history, and even self in history, the importance of the light and dark side of history. And the reason I say light and dark side of history is that in terms of history is controlled by the victor, and in terms of certain history will never be told, because certain history can allow to evolve or suppress set individuals, or just suppress people's humanity. If there's certain history that allows you to achieve and do great things and just understand how the world works, why the hell is the government going to tell you? Because they can use that to manipulate you. And with One Piece, it does a beautiful way with this. It shows how history can be changed, altered to benefit a government, to benefit set individuals. And honestly, I'm trying not to spoil a lot of things. I'm just trying to be as vague as possible. But in terms of what One Piece does, it shows the greed, the entitlement, the bad things, the crimes, all of these things that people commit. It shows also that one of my favorite speeches in terms of children should not bear the sins of their parents. And this is true. A lot of people continue a cycle of violence and all this stuff because families were involved in all this stuff, and that they are built to hate one another. And it's not true. We ourselves can determine our lives and can determine who we want to be. We should not continue a life cycle of hate to another race, or hate to other individuals, or things that people in the past have committed. We should aim to be better people in terms of life and unite as people. And what Oda does is just a beautiful depiction of the light and dark side of humanity. And there's a lot more I can get into it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and you go watch One Piece.